Guys, I have found my perfect earbuds. We're done here. The channel is over. I am joking, of course. We are just getting started. And today I will tell you all about these Technics earbuds that I do actually think are among one of the best, if not the best sounding earbuds I have ever heard in my life. So stick around because you do want to see this video. What do the Technics EAH-AZ80-S, long name, difficult to remember, but I did remember it. What do they sound like? That's the most important question that I always try to answer first. Beautiful and powerful. First thing you notice when you put them into your ears and you start listening to music, especially when you compare them to other earbuds that you maybe own or heard before, or you clearly remember what they sound like in your head, the first thing you notice is the wide, broad, beautifully done soundstage. This is probably the broadest sound staging I have heard in earbuds in a very long time, if not ever. Every single instrument is clearly separated from the rest, is very distinctively heard in the recordings that you're listening to. So you go through all your favorite songs and you still pick up one more detail that you haven't heard before, and you're like, wow, I didn't know this was really there, because there's so much clarity. It's almost unreal when you listen to these. You have this weird eerie feeling that the music is coming from all these different dimensions around you that you almost didn't know existed. Of course, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I want to give you guys an idea of what the experience is, and I'm telling you, it is fantastic when you listen to these. So, you know, whatever went into this, whatever the driver is in these, it is brilliant. The bass is probably the most natural sounding bass, again, I have ever heard in any wireless earbuds. It is done absolutely beautifully. It is strong. You can feel the air, you can feel the power, and yet it never gets distorted. I have never heard bass sounding better in my ears while using wireless earbuds. The mids are absolutely perfectly tuned. They are a little bit retracted, but to the perfect point where everything sounds punchy, and yet the vocals are clear and strong and powerful again, and everything that you should be hearing in the songs is absolutely there. I just love the way this sounds. And then we get to the highs that are so well tuned. They are so detailed and so extensive, and yet they never get harsh and overwhelming. It's just absolute perfect tuning. This is not something you can just jump into the business and do. This is years of experience and expertise. Technics is a company that has been around for a very long time. They definitely do know what they're doing when it comes to processing and delivering perfect sound, and they absolutely prove it with this set. So I know this is not a cheap set of earbuds. The current price tag on Amazon is $300 for this set. And I think the viewers of this channel are mostly getting excited when I find equipment that is inexpensive and sounds great. But I really thought it was worth doing this review, because if you can save up to get these, I think this might be the last set of earbuds you will ever buy and the last one you will ever need, because the perfect sound signature is just the beginning. There are many more areas where they really shine. So let's talk about that. The ergonomics, they kind of have this slightly bizarre shape. So when you take them out of the box and first start looking at them, you're not really sure whether these are going to work well or not. But after you insert them in your ears, you know you're home. You know these are where they belong. You know there was a lot of time that went into engineering of this, and this shape is not accidental. It's actually perfectly designed. They fit so well. It feels like they belong. You know, you can just insert them a little bit if you want, and they will stay there. And then you can twist them and have them go really deep into your ear canal, which I recommend. I think that's the better way. And then they will definitely stay in there. So you could advertise these as sport earbuds, because you can run, jump, shake your head, do whatever you want in these, and they will not fall out. I tell you guys, they sit there as if they were part of your body. It's absolute perfection in engineering and ergonomics. I don't even know how to describe it otherwise. Someone spent thousands of working hours figuring out how to make them fit so well, and they did a perfect job. Of course, there's a set of different sized ear tips included, so you can fit them even better into your ears. I am shocked at how these unassuming looking little things were done so perfectly. Because I went through many earbuds in my life, and I prefer the ones with a stem. I feel like those always fit better. Like, for example, the new Soundcore Liberty 4 NC that I will talk about next. But with these, I have discovered that if you engineer something really well, what you favorite doesn't matter, because this is better. The ergonomics, of course, affect the touch controls. So you have this entire circular area on the top of the earbud where you can tap and send commands to these and tell them what you want to do, which makes the touch operation incredibly easy. And I love how responsive these are and how they work in everyday life. And I learned to work with them so well. One tap on the right or on the left stops or restarts the music. 2 taps on the right advance to the next song. 3 taps on the right take you back to the previous song or to the start of the current song. And the long tap on the right switches between ANC and transparency modes. 2 taps on the left raise your volume. 3 taps on the left lower your volume. How smart is that? Volume operation on one earbud instead of 2. I just really like it. And long tap on the left activates your voice assistant. I just really like the way this is designed because it's very simple, it's easy to remember, it's easy to get used to, and it's very practical. It just works very well in real life. And there's another element that makes it super functional. Once you tap the earbud, it gives you a confirmation of what command it received. So basically, if you tap once, there's one quick beep. If you tap twice, it confirms, beep beep, I heard what you want to do, I received the taps well, I will advance to the next song now. And it's genius in my opinion. The way it works in practice, once you get used to, you wonder how you can possibly go back to any other earbuds that don't have this system in place. Because sometimes you mistap the earbud. You don't really hit exactly where you're supposed to, right? You think you're tapping in the middle of your earbud, you go up or down or whatever. You know, it takes a while getting used to. But with this system, you do know what command was received. So if you intend to tap 3 times, but you only hear 2 beeps, that means your earbud will just execute the command that is tied to 2 taps instead of 3. This is genius. It just works so well in real life. I don't know if I'm describing it good enough for you guys to actually get the feeling of how this works, but I'm telling you, it works beautifully. Now, the best part is that when you receive phone calls on these, the same rules apply. So basically, 1 tap answers the phone call, and then you can tap the left earbud twice to raise the volume, or 3 times to lower the volume during the phone call, which is really incredibly important during phone calls. I always find myself fiddling with the phone because it depends on people's connection. Sometimes you can hear them very well, you want to go all the way up on the volume, and sometimes you hear people way too loud, so you quickly want to go down on the volume. So this operation without taking your phone out of the pocket for pretty much every single function that there is for music listening and answering phone calls is absolutely perfectly designed on these and perfectly executed. And I'm telling you, it's the most convenient set I have ever used. This section is going to be way shorter than other sections of this review. I love the way they look. I love the high-tech look. I love the amount of sensors and different, technological aspects on each earbud. They look very high-tech, which goes with the name of the company, Technics. They look sleek. They look futuristic. They look beautiful. Personally, I was never a fan of shiny surfaces, but this little bit of silver here just does the trick. This light-colored set looks really good. Most of the time I go for black, but with these, I feel like I picked the right earbuds because I look at them like, man, these are beautiful. Now we're going to talk about the important section that a lot of you often have questions about, and I'm telling you guys, the ANC on these is absolutely the best. The website and the advertising on Amazon says industry leading ANC system. I agree. These are one of the very few earbuds out there that completely tune out my lawnmower. I was actually wearing them for the first time. I went ANC 100%, and I turned the lawnmower on. I started, and I'm like, oh, it didn't start. But wait a minute, it is vibrating. I can't hear it at all. This is crazy. It was just a bizarre feeling of the earbuds completely canceling the noise out. I had music playing at 50%. I didn't really go super high at all. And if you do go to 75, 80, 90%, then you're in your own world. It doesn't matter what happens around you. There may be a war going on, and you're, in your own universe, separated from everything, noise-wise. So, amazing job. The good fit and the ergonomics definitely support this perfect ANC. I would absolutely place these. I would place them higher than Sony and Bose and Apple, you name it. For me, this ANC absolutely is as good as it gets. I still do hear my dogs barking right next to me, but it is the least amount of barking that I hear with these out of all the earbuds I ever tested, which also tells me these are the best, and I stand behind it. From my personal everyday life experience, I'm telling you guys, this is going to be very, very hard to beat. I never really talk about transparency extensively in my reviews because you rarely find a set of earbuds that does it well. I am amazed here. I am amazed because the app has a setting where you can specify the amount of transparency you want. So 100% was almost too much for me. I felt like the world around me was a little amplified. So I went to around 85%, and at 85%, I find no difference between what I can hear with nothing in my ears versus what I can hear with these in my ears, which means the transparency is done perfectly. There is literally no difference. You put these in your ears, you set the transparency to 85%, and nothing changes. You can still hear the world around you the way you would without anything in your ears. Absolutely amazing. So far, only AirPods Pro 2 did this, and these are at least the same, if not better. And I'm telling you guys, I'm not exaggerating this. I tested this with every single earbud I have, and I have tons of them. If you watch this channel, you've seen the previous reviews. I have a lot of earbuds that I never reviewed yet, or simply didn't review them because they were just not worth talking about. And I have never experienced anything like this other than with AirPods Pro 2. So if you're looking for a set that really has as close to perfect sound signature as it gets, absolutely beautiful, broad, amazing soundstage, and perfect transparency, and perfect ANC, these are for you. Does this price tag now seem a little lower, a little more value than it did when you first hear $300? Incredible technology here, executed very, very well. The app support for these earbuds is pretty good. The Technics app is well designed. It lets you set different levels for noise cancelling and for transparency, which is brilliant in my opinion because you can go anywhere from 0 to 100, so adjust it absolutely to your desire. As I mentioned, ANC at 100 cancels almost all the noise, and transparency at 100 sort of amplifies the world around you. So this might even be helpful for people who have not a perfect hearing, this little bit of amplification. You can adjust the sound signature presets. There are several here, tuned to vocal, tuned to even more bass. If you need more bass, go ahead, knock yourself off. If you need more treble, go ahead. There's a dynamic setting, which I think they are pretty dynamic right out of the box. And there's, of course, custom equalizer with several bands. So tune them and adjust them to your heart's desire. Find your perfect spot. There's also a test that you can do for the fit of the earbuds, which should be pretty easy. One of the greatest features of this app is that it really connects very quickly every time you open it and you already have the earbuds in your ears. For some reason, a lot of earbuds out there simply don't connect to their app after a while, after some time of using them, or the connection takes a long time, which is really frustrating. Technics figured this out, and I haven't had any problems like that here yet. Every time I open the app, the connection is instant. It sees the earbuds instantly. And then once you explore the basic functions of the app and you think there's not too many of them, you click this settings wheel at the right lower corner, and you discover that there's a lot more to it. So you can set the language for the voice prompts, and you have quite a few options here, including Polish. Yay!
Redukcja szumów.
Then you can customize the voice prompt. So for example, it can announce the mode name when you're switching between transparency and ANC, or it can simply play a sound notifying you that it has switched. Very good. You can also rename your headphones here. So instead of having the not super easy to remember EAH-AZ80, you can put in whatever you want to come up with to name them. So that's a great addition to your customization. And you can also use the app to play a sound when you can't find your earbuds. Very convenient. There is a connection mode selector here, so you can prioritize sound quality, and there is LDAC or LDAC for headphone selector here, so that will make Android users very happy. And then you proceed to discover you can also control the multiple devices connection from the app, which means you can either select, you can tell the earbuds only connect to one device. I'm not interested in having any more, don't connect to any others. You can select 2 devices, or you can connect up to 3. And I tested this. The switching between 3 devices connected is really seamless. So let's say you have your phone connected, your laptop, and your Apple TV. Whichever of these devices starts playing something, the earbuds switch to that device instantly and pick up that audio and start playing it in your ears. Convenient? Yes, extremely. There's also an option here that is called suppression of sound interruptions and delays. And it's basically a different name for gaming mode, I think, because there are 3 different sections here that you can pick, and they are described in detail, which I will not read all of these descriptions here because the video would be too long. But basically you can choose between larger delay but better sound quality and better suppression of additional noises and interruptions, and that setting is recommended for when you're listening to music. Or there's a little bit of sacrificing the sound quality but very low latency time, and that of course supports your video watching and gaming. There's another whole section in the settings for the customization of the operation, the controls, the tap sensor. So you can switch the tap sensor completely off for any situations where you don't want to register any accidental taps, when you know you're adjusting them a lot or taking them in and out and you don't want any interruptions in, for example, the phone call or the music that you're listening to or some critical audio that you're listening to. So you can completely turn off the touch sensor. And there's a lot of other options related to that and settings that you can change. I will not go over all of them because the video would simply be unbearably long. But let me tell you, this is as detailed as it gets. When you first start working with this app, it doesn't look as extensive as it is in covering all the different options that you have available. And I find it among the most detailed, most well done apps for earbuds that I have ever come across. There is even a built-in test that you can do for how other parties on the call are hearing your voice when you're using them for phone calls, but we're going to do our own and test in real life conditions how good these perform when you're making phone calls. Alright, here we are in my standard test, going from 0 to 50 miles an hour in a noisy car with cracked windows to introduce a little bit of wind into the cabin and make the task a little more difficult for these earbuds to resolve my voice from the noisy environment and cancel all the noise. So I'm going to start driving right now. Let's get up to 50 miles an hour and see how well these do, especially how well they do in comparison to some other contenders, very well known contenders to us, like for example the Capsule 3 Pro from Soundpeats that I'm going to use next. And in the meantime, I want to tell you guys that these actually have two different levels of noise cancellation for phone calls. So of course I have them set higher noise cancellation because I'm not interested in testing what these cannot do. I'm interested in testing what they can do. And if you find yourself in similar conditions, maybe commuting to work on public transportation, or going for a weekend with friends where you're boating and have a lot of noise around you and have to make phone calls, and if you happen to have your Technics EAH-AZ80-S with you, how good would they be for making a phone call in those conditions? So now that you've heard me talking for a minute or so, let's switch to the very well-known Capsule 3 Pro from Soundpeats, because not only are they great at this kind of thing, resolving your voice and canceling noise that is around you during phone calls, but also they are much, much, much less expensive than the Technics earbuds we're testing today. All right, here we go. These are the Soundpeats Capsule 3 Pro for comparison, and of course I have tested these before, not once, not twice, but several times, so I know they can deliver, and I know I can talk to you guys freely and you will be able to hear what I'm saying. So let me get to 50 miles an hour, and we are there. I have to admit that I took a break and I listened to the recording from the Technics earbuds because I was so curious how they're going to come out. Because so far this has been a glowing review, and I was really wondering, can I continue with these highest marks for all the different aspects of their performance? And I can tell you already, I haven't listened to this on my computer system at home yet, and that is always more accurate, but I can already tell you that this review will be flawless, glowing, perfect, beautiful from beginning to end, because there isn't a single area yet that I have found that wouldn't be absolutely excellent with the Technics earbuds. Even this test that has been so difficult for many different other earbuds that cost a lot of money and don't perform well, the Technics didn't disappoint. The audio is actually great, recorded in difficult conditions, because they have this amazing noise canceling and voice recognition and voice processing technology built in. You guys didn't think I was going to end this test with just two different earbuds, did you? To have a broader sample range, I'm going to throw one more contender into this mix, and they are the Evo from One More. One More Evo have been tested on this channel before, and they did excellent. That's why I'm using them for this comparison. If we're talking about the highest end players who can resolve noise very well in difficult conditions, then One More Evo definitely belong into this category. That's why I'm using them against the Technics earbuds and against Capsule 3 Pro. So this is like the clash of the titans. It's all three that did the best in this test so far, you may say. Now that you guys have these three samples, you can go back and forth in this part of the video to compare exactly what the sound coming out of the Technics EAH-AZ80-S against the Capsule 3 Pro from Soundpeats and against One More Evo is, and which one of these you might considering purchasing for yourself if you are making a lot of phone calls in difficult auditory conditions. How about that test, huh? When I said the words in the beginning of this review that these might be the best earbuds I have ever had, I didn't really know the results of this driving in the car test because I haven't performed it yet at that time. But now that I have, I can confirm there is not a single area, not a single feature of these earbuds that they wouldn't excel at. They really truly are absolutely the best. I wasn't going to do a summary anymore, but I will I will say a few things to kind of summarize this whole review, because I know it's been long, and I thank you all who stuck around and survived up to this point. So what we have here very quickly is absolutely fantastic sounding earbuds that can be compared to anything else out there, that have wonderful ergonomics, that have great ANC mode, easily comparable to the best out there, that have transparency mode, easily comparable to the best out there, that have app support, that has every single function under the sun you can possibly think of, that have all the latest codecs that you can use with whatever equipment you have out there to squeeze out the best possible quality out of them. And then on top of it all, you can make phone calls using these safely, knowing that if you have to, for example, call your boss under difficult auditory conditions, because there's a lot of noise around you, he will clearly hear you when you're saying that you're definitely not coming to work today. Because imagine how troublesome it would be if the word not was not heard and he would understood that you're definitely coming to work. That is something you don't want to deal with. So if you survived this review for this long, you can probably safely leave now, because the most important things have been said. But I do have two more things that I have to mention, which is the case and the battery life, in order to make this review really complete. So starting with the case, just like everything else about these earbuds, it's no surprise to you anymore. It is very nice. It is absolutely one of the best cases I have seen this far. I'm not even joking. It just has this really great sort of silk-like finish. It's somewhere between matte and shiny, which really looks great. It has this anodized or maybe brushed aluminum. That's what it is. The brushed aluminum type of finish on top with the Technics name engraved. It looks absolutely great. It opens and closes very nicely, like a lot of cases out there. But it has this nice to the touch plastic on the inside that nicely holds these earbuds. There is absolutely no problem taking them out. They snap back in because they're magnetic, like a lot of other earbuds out there. They connect very well. The case charges very well, and it supports wireless charging, so you don't have to use cables if you don't want to. But if you're more comfortable using cables, there is of course USB-C inlet on the back where you can connect them overnight and have full charge in the morning. As far as the battery life goes, you get about 7 hours on a single charge, which is fairly consistent with my testing, and then you have a stored power for about 2.5 more charges in the case. So for a total of 24 hours more or less, these will take you throughout the longest day in your life without having to ever recharge them. And with that information, this is truly the end of this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you found it informative enough to make an educated decision. If you want to get yourself a pair of these, Merry Christmas. If you do, you are the best. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Very excited about things that are coming to this channel really soon.